first impressions matter when you're marketing your game. Games like, shall we say, Gollum, you may recall when they first showed off what that game would look like. For good reason, a lot of people saw the writing on the wall. A lot of people expected this game would not really live up to the prominence and the level of fandom that Lord of the Rings has gained. And it seemed as though we might be on a similar path with an upcoming King Kong game. Obviously, the hope is that that's not how things will turn out. But, you know, when you look at a first trailer and the gameplay just shows something so incredibly, I don't know, cheap looking or just something that looks so nowhere near the quality bar where you would expect a game like this to be, given the IP that it's representing, it's hard not to feel a sense of foreboding. This, ladies and gentlemen, is Skull Island: Rise of Kong. So there had been reports that there was a King Kong game in development, and frankly, it surprises me that we haven't seen a AAA King Kong game, and a lot of people are hoping maybe this is what that will be. But it's looking like this is one that you should be really cautious of. So it all began back in July 20th, 2023, when Amazon Spain accidentally leaked screenshots of Skull Island. You can actually see the listing right here from Amazon Spain. It currently says that this is not available, but this is what the cover looks like. The cover actually looks kind of cool, but once we delve into the gameplay screenshots, this is what that looks like. It's trying to go for some kind of art style, but I mean, looking at these screenshots, it just feels like a novice team is putting this together. But people hope that these screenshots were not all that representative of what the game actually looks like, that when you see the game in motion, it's actually going to look pretty decent. But then the trailer came out. The trailer was uploaded to the Game Mill Entertainment channel. This is the publisher for Skull Island: Rise of Kong, which is coming this fall 2023. And judging by the likes to dislikes ratio, you can already tell that what's in store for us with this trailer is not going to be anything particularly impressive. Judge for yourself. Here is what that looks like.
Kings, stories of gods, and the stories of the beasts and their king. The story of Kong.
Oh boy.
And his legacy had just begun.
So it's got a bit of like a comic booky kind of look to it. Like something Borderlands-esque, but with far worse fidelity. The animations look janky. Just the general visual fidelity just feels extremely lackluster. It just feels like a project coming from people who are just getting into game development. And if you look at some freeze frames of this trailer, it really highlights just how bland the environments look, how off the scale of the beasts look. The game attempts to make it look bigger by having all this like small bits of foliage around. And are these supposed to be trees? I'm not sure. They just look like bushes. Whatever the case, there is just a lack of consideration in making the environments look compelling or really all that beautiful. I mean, look at this. This straight up does look like, I mean, not even a PS3 game. This could very well be like a higher end PS2 game in terms of graphics fidelity. Look at the textures here, how blurry they are. There's just a lack of personality, a lack of soul in the visuals. And then Kong's model itself, I mean, just look at it. It's straight up giving Gollum vibes, where when they show the gameplay, you know, it's got the general shape of Gollum, but everything about the way the character is animated, represented, just the proportions and the features, and just how cartoonishly, caricaturish the character looked, like all of that, all those vibes are felt with this trailer. When I look at I mean, look at this. Look at how visually just disjointed everything is. Right here, Kong looks like a plastic model for some reason. And the way he's standing on these vines, he's like standing on this gap here. So there's already a disparity there where it just looks off. And then the blandness of just the scenery itself with shrubbery that's just kind of scattered about. Textures that look very bland and very low in resolution. The list just goes on and on. I mean, I don't think I need to really say more or describe it more. I mean, these creatures look kind of colorful, I suppose, but that aside, there's nothing about this trailer that evokes any sense of this having the potential of being a good or a decent game. The gameplay is really going to have to make up for it, but usually when there's such a lack of attention to detail and even just the visuals, it tends to indicate that on the gameplay side of things, it's probably not going to fare much better. I mean, looking at this little clip right here, everything looks so stiff. The gameplay just looks really dated. It looks like one of those like cheaper PS2 games, one of those kind of thrown together beat 'em ups, or one of those like movie tie-in video games where it's functional, but it doesn't really have anything going for it that feels polished, or like they spent a considerable amount of time on it and they put the kind of care that you'd expect out of an IP like this that is so beloved and so like such an iconic part of culture. It doesn't help matters that Game Mill Entertainment doesn't have a good track record of publishing the best or most polished games. A lot of their stuff looks pretty janky. Like here is like a trailer for Cobra Kai. What is this called? Cobra Kai 2 Dojo's Rising. Here's what the combat looks like for that. Here's what the graphics and combat look like. Look. Oh my god. These are the kinds of games that they publish. Very, very cheap looking. I mean, double A doesn't even sound right.
Cobra.
What's that voice acting? Cobra Smash. The most high-profile thing that Game Mill Entertainment published was actually Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl. But this is not a game that has gained a whole lot of traction. While there was some initial hype surrounding it because the concept is cool, the execution still left a lot to be desired, and this is a game that has ultimately faded away. You can see on Steam charts, for example, that the all-time peak for Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl was 9,000 players, a little over 9,000, which isn't a whole lot. And if you look at the player numbers today, we're talking about low double digits. And based on what I've seen in this trailer of Skull Island Rise of Kong, it doesn't feel like Game Mill is trying to break new ground here or trying to break their rather shoddy track record of kind of half-baked games. It just looks like they're doubling down on publishing those kinds of experiences that are so outdated and will not be able to compete in the current landscape of video games, where even on the AA or indie scale, we're getting such refined and compelling and beautiful experiences that Skull Island Rise of Kong nowhere near comes close to matching or representing. And the discourse surrounding this game kind of echoes all of that. The likes to dislikes ratio here is from the IGN upload of this trailer, which garnered more views than the Game Mill Entertainment channel version. And you can see right here, 1.3 thousand likes versus a whopping 9.4 thousand dislikes. And people are just tearing this game apart, mocking it, memeing it. This will no doubt be one of the best games of 2006. Bro, even the movie game on PSP looks better. This game is going to push PS5's limits to its minimum. Finally, a new PS2 game. Been waiting 10 years for one. Time to dig my PS2 out of the attic. Gollum getting a sequel this soon. A lot of people fear that this is just looking like another Gollum type of situation. And plenty of people were excited about the prospect of finally a proper like King Kong game. I've never been so excited and disappointed in my entire life. We had a solid King Kong game on the Xbox 360/PC. Why no one continued to improve upon it is beyond me. Same for Aliens Isolation. People have been waiting for a proper King Kong game developed by a renowned studio that can really give it the AAA treatment that this beloved and iconic character deserves. But the fact that it's getting a treatment that's more akin to Gollum is just, it's baffling. I mean, this IP is rife for not only amazing concepts for a video game surrounding this IP, but for companies to make good money off of games from King Kong that are compelling and fun. I mean, this is a giant gorilla who can wreck shit we're talking about. Surely we can do better than this, right? I mean, am I crazy to be saying that? I don't think so. Look at this. This is the kind of like Gollum vibes that this trailer evokes. That is reminiscent of this, where Gollum. I mean, again, it's reminiscent of the character Gollum, but it's this hideously just cartoonish, caricaturish, just hilarious version of the character who looked like this during the marketing period of the game, and then when the game came out, it looked somehow even worse. Hopefully the King Kong game here isn't on this level, but then again, like, rising above Gollum isn't a high bar to meet, and it doesn't feel like the bar here is going to be set that much higher. So, I don't know. The only miracle we can hope for with this game is that the gameplay really shines, and that the graphics will be completely outdone by just how fun the beat-em-up gameplay here is. But when you look at the gameplay in the trailer, it's hard to feel like this game has any chance of having any semblance of compelling gameplay. There's a synopsis here for the game from GameSpot. So this game is coming out on PlayStation 5, PlayStation 4, Xbox Series X and S, Xbox One, Nintendo Switch, and PC via Steam later this year. So it is going to be a cross-generation game. Though if you told me this was a last-generation game, or even, again, a PS2 game, I may very well have believed you. Hell, there are PS2 games, and as some people have pointed out, PSP games that look better than this. This is going to be an exhilarating third-person action-adventure game that lets you become Kong on a journey of vengeance as you fight to claim your rightful place as King of Skull Island. The description then further elaborates that you're going to be taken on an action-packed quest to avenge the death of Kong's parents at the hands of the ultimate alpha predator, the Saurian terror Gaw. Traverse the mysterious island and uncover its secrets across a variety of treacherous environments, discovering the power coursing through its exotic flora and fauna. Exotic flora and fauna. Yeah, based on what I've seen in the trailer, you guys have a very different definition of what exotic means. Conquer waves of primal beasts, defeat unique bosses, and rise above all who stand in Kong's way to being king. So on and so forth. You can read the rest for yourself. It's a lot of just the typical PR mumbo-jumbo that just describes the game with all the buzzwords that marketing requires. Yeah, I don't really have much faith in this one, and as I said about Gollum, it's crazy to see such an internationally celebrated IP be like handed off to development studios that are so clearly inexperienced or don't have the talent or manpower or resources or a combination of all of these things to be able to really pull off an experience that lives up to just how epic these franchises or how iconic these franchises are. I just don't understand how in 2023 we're going to be seeing a King Kong game that looks like this, or a freaking Lord of the Rings game centered around Gollum, which is a cool concept, that looks like this, or even worse, this. But I suppose only time will tell how Rise of Kong will turn out. In the meantime, though, let me know in the comments below what your thoughts and opinions are on Skull Island, Rise of Kong. Do you think this is going to be another Gollum type of situation, or do you think it's being judged too harshly and that we should wait and see, and that there's potential here based on what you have seen? Share your thoughts below, and to be further updated on all things gaming news, reviews, and discussions, stay tuned right here on Young Yeah. I'll see you guys next time. Young out.